He kicked her out without a warning. 35 years of friendship, love, and shared memories, gone in a single night. As her bags sat by the door and the man she trusted turned cold, she didn't cry. She just looked at him, as if she finally saw the stranger behind the smile she thought she knew. What he didn't know was that her son was watching. And while that man walked away with his new mistress, thinking he'd won, a quiet, satisfying revenge was already brewing, one that would make him regret ever crossing their family. If you've ever seen someone betray the person who loved them most, if you've ever wished karma would come back faster, then buckle in. Because today's story isn't about violence or screaming fights. It's about poetic payback, where the smallest act of revenge can sting deeper than any punch. So if you believe in instant karma, hit that like button. And let's dive into one of the most unexpectedly satisfying stories of justice you'll hear today. They'd known each other for 35 years. A whole lifetime of memories, birthdays, barbecues, laughter, loss. He wasn't just her boyfriend. He was a piece of her past, tied to her late husband through a shared circle of friends. When her husband died in 2014, grief nearly drowned her. But over time, she found comfort in familiar faces, especially his. He made her smile again when she thought she never would. He brought her coffee every morning, called her sunshine, told her that she deserved to be happy again. Her children were relieved. They just wanted their mother to feel alive after years of darkness. And she did. Until the spring of last year. Conflict, the betrayal. It started subtly. He became distant, his phone always upside down, late nights. At work, half-hearted answers. One morning, without warning, he told her to pack her things. No discussion. No explanation. Just, you need to leave. Today. Her hands shook as she folded her clothes, each one carrying years of shared laughter. The walls that once felt like home now stared back, hollow and unfamiliar. When her son came to help her move, he could barely look that man in the eyes. Something inside him boiled, not just anger, but disbelief. How could anyone discard someone who had stood by them through everything? It took weeks to find out the truth. He wasn't lonely. He wasn't confused. He was cheating, with a colleague from work. A woman young enough to still think betrayal is romantic. He threw away 35 years of history for an affair that wouldn't last 3. The fallout was messy. Their longtime friend group split apart. 15 to 20 people, and only a few took his side. Most of them saw him for what he was, a coward who traded loyalty for lust. But instead of accepting the blame, he started twisting the story. Telling people that she'd changed, that she was controlling, painting himself as the victim of a breakup he caused. And the worst part? He believed his own lies. But the universe has its ways of balancing things out. And sometimes, karma just needs a little human help. Turning Point, the Netflix discovery. It happened about a year later. Her son was relaxing at home one night, scrolling through his Netflix account, when something strange caught his eye. A new profile, one he didn't create. The name? The boyfriend's. His smug name, right there, on his account, the one he paid for. At first, he thought it was a glitch. But no. The history was full of shows he used to watch with his mom. The betrayal, apparently, hadn't stopped at her. Now he was freeloading off her son too. That's when the anger hit. Not explosive, quiet, surgical, cold. He could have just logged him out and changed the password. But that would have been too easy. Too forgettable. He wanted something better. Something poetic. Something that would sting just enough to remind that man, you don't get to take what isn't yours anymore. The revenge plan. So instead of deleting the profile, he renamed it. He stared at the screen, smiling as his fingers typed. By one yourself middle finger lights get tone. Then he switched the profile to kids mode. A digital prison of cartoons and G-rated movies, where that man and his new girlfriend could only binge Peppa Pig and Finding Nemo together. It was brilliant, petty, precise, and completely harmless, yet humiliating enough to hit right where it hurt. And he didn't stop there. He waited. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't in doing the deed, it's in watching it unfold. That weekend, his mom got invited to a family birthday, hosted by her late husband's sister, her beloved aunt. The friend group was there, including him and his new girlfriend. The audacity to show up at her husband's family gathering, acting like he still belonged. Even his new girlfriend looked uncomfortable. Everyone else could see through his charm. But karma was already working in the background. Right about the time they were leaving, he probably sat down later that night, ready to watch a movie with his mistress, only to find his screen saying, "By one yourself middle finger lights get tone." And when he tried to click on anything, all he could see were animated ponies and dancing vegetables. The son called his mom after doing it. When she heard what he'd done, she burst out laughing. A genuine, unstoppable laugh she hadn't had in months. She told everyone at the party, and the room erupted in joy. Her sister-in-law laughed until tears rolled down her face. Even her elderly mother couldn't stop chuckling. After months of pain and humiliation, this tiny act, this perfect little revenge, brought her peace. The tension melted away. The power shifted back. And as her son listened to her laughter on the phone, he realized something powerful. Sometimes, the smallest victories heal the deepest wounds. Performing arts, reflection, justice, quiet and sweet. It wasn't about Netflix. It wasn't about passwords or petty payback. It was about reclaiming control. About reminding someone that kindness isn't weakness. That betrayal doesn't end with heartbreak. It ends with laughter. The mom moved on, stronger than ever. The boyfriend? He lost more than a relationship. He lost respect, from friends, from family, from the people who once admired him. And every time her mom's side of the family gathers now, the story gets retold. Someone always brings up the Netflix revenge, and laughter fills the room again. Even her grandma still mentions it. A small reminder that no matter how cruel life gets, sometimes justice comes wearing the sweetest smile. If that story made you smile, if you believe that karma always finds its way back, hit that like button, because that helps more people find these stories. Tell us in the comments, what's your favorite example of petty revenge that hit perfectly? And don't forget to subscribe, because we've got plenty more stories where karma gets the last laugh. Until next time, remember, you don't need to shout for justice. Sometimes all it takes is changing a Netflix profile name.